right, this is October 9th, 2023. J6 updates, news and chat. National security risk Biden. It's all coming together. Hi, Docs and Grandma. Hello, Sunkist. Let's get a watermark in here. Hello there, Julie Jordan. How are you? We got national security risk Biden at the helm. Hello, Annette Park. All right, I think we got a good transmission here. Get that out of there. All right, looks like we're streaming good here, folks. Let me know if the wind is a problem or the sound isn't good. Hi, Sherry Thomas. Hi, Cleo, or Sherry 05. Annette Park. Yeah, he doesn't care, but it's all adding up, man. All his blunders in the last 2.5 years are all coming to focus right there in Israel, isn't it? Hey, silly for him. I hope we're not interrupting a wedding or anything. Hope you're doing well there with your daughter, Sylvia. Well, let's get right down to it, Patriots. We're going to go over the J6 vigil last night, and just in case you missed it, we'll go over some of the things that were said there. Had a good prayer by Dwight, as always. God bless you, Dwight. God bless you, Lily. Their mainstays at Freedom Corner, with all kinds of support for everybody. They're always there. They're setting up the equipment, tearing down the equipment. There's a lot of work every day. Set it up and tear it down. And Dwight and Lily are there consistently. We're honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with Dwight and Lily down there. Oh, okay, so you're still getting ready for it. You're making your own cake too? Wow. Hello, Marlene. Hello, Annette Park. Yeah, Dwight and Lily are fantastic, and I mean all the patriots and the people that I get to meet and the Christians that I get to meet in this whole effort is amazing. And it is a family, like Isaac Thomas and many of the other J6ers keep saying. It's a family, and it is good to have family, especially in times as stressful as today, you know. Wedding is Saturday, all right. Well, Saturday, I think, is a day where I'm hoping to be down in Northern Neck, and I do believe that Trooper and Tammy are heading down there also. So we'll have to see. I think my mechanic has bailed on me, so I'm on my own with this, putting this van transmission in. But I got 4 days from now. I can get all the goodies for it tomorrow, make sure the parts are all available, and then get on it. Just got nothing other to do than to just get that thing in there. It'll be a learning experience for me, but God gets me through it every time, man. It's pretty amazing. Just keep going at it, keep praying, try not to do any like out loud cussing when the bolt won't come loose or your knuckles get bashed. So hopefully I'll be down there on Saturday. There's Cleo, how are you? Another day to stand together and stand strong. That's right, Cleo. Yeah, I heard Trooper announce it on his stream last night, and that him and Tammy are heading down there. So, Lord willing, we'll be down there at Northern Neck next weekend. That'll be awesome, man. Get these, meet the Northern Neck Patriots there and everything. All right, thank you, Sunkist. This is my P.O. box number that I got. If you care to give me any support, you can. I'd appreciate it. all the streamers down at the Freedom Corner. We all need support. So fund your local live streamer. All right, so in case you missed it, after Dwight prayed, Nicole looked like, you know, some days are better than others, man. And Nicole got up and said something about it's been 1,000 days since Ashley's murder. Been 1,000 days since the government, you know, started a riot and blamed us for it. It's been 1,000 days since Guy Reffitt was arrested. And it gets old. We need encouragement, and you guys are all good on encouragement. That's one reason God brought this whole family together. But some days, man, it just gets you down. And I mean, we got to look at the good side of things, but there's always the bad side of things right there all the time. So some days are better than others, Nicole. God bless you. We're praying for courage and tenacity, perseverance. Those are the attributes that I think God wants us to have, and He'll give them to us if we ask Him. If when we need it, we ask Him for that. And the one thing she said was, man, we should. So she was bumming about it was 1,000 days and all this now, and nothing's happening, and our government has left us hanging, and maybe we should have went harder on J6. And there's an argument for that, you know. There's an argument for that. But then Matt Da Silva called up like right after that, and he must have heard that last part of the conversation, so he had to do a disclaimer. The views and things people say don't necessarily reflect the views and words of the next caller or something like that. He had to just kind of say, well, yeah, that I hear you, Nicole, but he's not saying that right now. All right. So Matt Da Silva, inmate number 385960, had a good Sunday message for us. He called it Heavy Metal Sunday School. It was pretty cool. And it came from the book of Judges in the scriptures. And it's the story of Jephthah. Jephthah was one of the judges that Israel asked for. And throughout the history of Israel, you know, if you look at from Moses on, all right, there was no judges, there was no king. Moses led them through the wilderness and got to the promised land. Joshua split up the land for each of the tribes, and there was no king. There was no one guy in power. There was no judges, all right? So the whole story of Israel, it's all through the Old Testament, and it's a learning experience. And I think it's kind of a template for our experience in each of our lifetime here on this earth, okay? So there came a time when the Israelites wanted judges, okay? And God gave them judges. And that's what the book of Judges is about. There wasn't a king yet in Israel during that period of time. So this is after Joshua, but before King David, or King Saul was the first king of Israel. And, you know, these are lessons to be learned from the Bibles. So Judges 11 is the story of Jephthah, and it's an odd one, man, to pick out, but it's a Bible study. It's in there. We got to learn what we can from it. Jephthah was a Gileadite, okay, so he wasn't technically, he was of the king's household. He was one of the king's sons, but he wasn't from the king's wife. He was from a concubine or whatever, a harlot. So he had other brothers that were descended from the queen, you know, the king's wife, and they kind of kicked him out of the country. You know, they said, you got to leave, and he did. And then all of a sudden there was a war to be had. I think it was the Ammonites were threatening Israel with a 300-year-old territorial claim. And the people from Israel came over to Jephthah and asked him to lead their armies to defeat the Ammonites that were threatening Israel at the time. So what's not in the story is, why did these people come to him after the brothers themselves kicked him out? So there must have been an internal problem with the judge at the time there. And so Jephthah says, sure, I'll help you out, because he was a notorious warrior at the time. And right before he goes into battle, he asks God to grant him a victory, and that if God grants him a victory, he swore that whoever, as he returned home, whoever ran out of the house to greet him first, he would sacrifice that person for God giving him that victory. And he did win the war. He came home, and the first person that ran out to greet him was his only daughter. He didn't have any sons, or only one daughter. And his heart was torn out. It was like, oh, why did I make that vow? Why did I swear that oath? And these are the questions that we should be asking ourselves as we read this story. God says, let your yes be yes, and let your no be no, and that oaths stand. I mean, if you do take an oath, and then, all right, so Jephthah didn't sacrifice his daughter now, as he said, to God, Yahuwah, I'm going to sacrifice my daughter if you give me the victory, or the first person, if you give me the victory. Well, he's just hit with the reality that he's going to sacrifice his daughter. Now, the story goes on that the daughter was like, okay, Dad, if you said that to God, then you have to obey it. You made an oath. And she said to give her 2 months while she went out and mourned her virginity and all that stuff. And then she came home, and apparently he did sacrifice her, though that's not exactly in there. The story of him sacrificing her isn't in there. But it became somewhat of a holiday then for the people in Israel, where they would mourn 4 days a year for Jephthah's daughter. And the story about it is about oaths and vows, that our tongues can get us in serious trouble by taking oaths and vows that we're not able to uphold. Oaths and vows stand. They are valid if we, as God's children, make an oath. We're expected to keep it, just like God keeps all his oaths, okay? So what Jephthah didn't understand was, like, here I am out in the wilderness. Why did God send these men over to me? And he didn't need to make a vow there, He should have just seen what was going on, and God was bringing the wise people of his country back to him after his brothers kicked them all out of the country. So there's a lot going on there with that one little study. All it is Judges 11, one chapter in the Bible. And there's many stories just in Judges alone that are, we're supposed to grow up with these. We're supposed to be thinking about them. We'll be going through life, and you'll go, wow, that's just like the story of Jephthah, And then it's already in your head. It's like a framework of a program. And then when things happen in your life, you can plug them into these lessons that are in the scriptures, man. And that was just a really cool lesson Matt Da Silva brought up right there on Freedom Corner. From inside the gulag out to us out here, gives me something to think about. It got me to read some scripture this morning, and it got, that is what it's all about, I believe. So let your yes be yes, and let your no be no. Understand that the words that are coming out of your mouth are important. They're gifts or they're curses, Depends on how you use your words. So you got to think about your words. Later on in the night, Jeff Sable ended up calling up. First words out of his mouth was, wow, there was some beautiful sunlight just coming in the window. And then he also mentioned how he was mentally able to escape for a couple of hours yesterday. So he got into, I think he said, a soccer game or something, and he just forgot he was in jail for 2 or 3 hours, which is a blessing right there. I mean, in the middle of the battle, he's one of the guys that are in there, was able to just forget he was in jail for a while. So we praise God for those moments, for these guys in there. We praise God for those moments out here, too, when we can just forget the fact that we got Joe Biden in the White House and stuff, you know. I mean, it's great just to forget about that. But, man, it's a slap in the face when you wake up and realize, oh, it's still here. Beautiful sunlight coming in the window. And then they did the national anthem. It was a great national anthem again. These guys are sounding awesome in there. They're all singing it, man, because it's loud. And they're still doing it. I mean, who does that? Who does that? I mean, that's a stamp on these guys that they are protected by God, I think. Singing the national anthem every night at 9 o'clock. So wherever you are, sing the national anthem, post a video of it. They're all over the internet, man. All over the internet now. And then he had information. I didn't hear this, but apparently there was some type of a picnic at the White House, and it's just odd that here we are. Israel's setting up for an invasion back into Gaza Strip after they got invaded yesterday, and they're throwing picnics on the White House lawn. I mean, when is our government going to get serious? When are they going to get serious? Everyone's wondering where all these weapons came from. Where did all these rockets come from? And nobody's forgotten the fact that Joe Biden left $83 billion worth of military equipment in Afghanistan. I'll refresh your memory in case you forgot. Joe Biden's generals pulled out of Afghanistan and left 600,000 small arms, that's guns, pistols, rifles, 30 million rounds of ammunition, 200 aircraft, 75,000 vehicles, a net value of 83 billion with a B billion dollars. In addition to the fact that we lost 13 servicemen and women and countless other allies that were in Afghanistan, such as like Afghanistani translators and things like that, people that were Afghanistanis that worked for us while we were there. And Joe Biden just pulled out, left them all hanging, man. And we fear the worst for those people. I never did get a report on what happened to a lot of them people, but we all know it's not good. Our spooks probably know exactly what happened to it, but they're not telling us. You know, another secret that we're supposed to know, not know anything about, so we can vote intelligently here in America. So yeah, we got the weapons from Afghanistan, possibly were sold or trafficked over to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip there. They what's the other weapons stash? Oh, the $6 billion we just gave to Iran. Okay, there's a bunch of cash ready to go. A week later, lo and behold, the friends of Iran are invading Israel and just mayhem, killing people, killing old people, killing children, women. Doesn't matter. Wanton abuse, just war, battle, surprise attack, taking hostages. All the news coming out of there is suspect at this point for me. It can't make sense of the news coming out of there. If you guys have any input on that, I'd be glad to hear your thoughts on that in the chat here. All right, yeah, we got Robert Kennedy officially announcing. So is this an instance? Who is his? There's 3 people now running for president, okay? A Republican, a Democrat, and an independent Kennedy. And he is relevant. I mean, he's going to pull votes off of somebody. There's a lot of Trump voters that if Kennedy runs, they might vote for Trump or for Kennedy, and vice versa. Biden voters, however many there are, we really don't know that. The ones that are alive and breathing may vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. So he's going to pull votes from somebody. Just adds another element in the next election that we don't have any way of predicting what's going to happen there. Oh, and then there's all the Ukrainian weapons, okay, that we've been shipping over to Ukraine now. And I've heard reports that some of those are showing up over in this engagement in Israel. And it seems like we are funding the enemies of Israel right now. There's also the fact that the Iron Dome was like worthless, or somebody forgot to turn it on that day. All kinds of drop the ball things from the Israeli defense, the IDF. They're supposed to have this thing called Iron Dome, man. We've been hearing about it for 10 years at least. And it's supposed to just shoot all missiles out of the sky, right? Like automatically. Well, 5,000 missiles landed in Israel the other day, and they have this thing called Iron Dome. Is Iron Dome hackable? Like that F-35 that the pilot ejected here in America? All right. And then we got, there we go. Trump advisor blasts Biden admin for denying $6 billion ransom paid to Iran, aided Hamas attack on Israel. So this is the information that's coming out. We know that our government is allowed to put propaganda out there. They don't have to tell us the truth. So who knows what's going on? This is a story from Gateway Pundit. In general, we can believe what they're saying because we've been very close to the J6 issue, and everything they've reported on the J6 issue is spot on. There's nothing false that they've been reporting there. And the information coming out of Israel is very suspect. Our own government can propagandize us. And we have a whole battalion of ships heading over there. I don't know, an armada. There's several. We had the list up here yesterday of how many ships were going over there. And the Air Force is sending jets over there, but they might all be hackable. So who knows what's going to happen? Judging by what we saw here in America with that F-35 that crashed in South Carolina a couple weeks ago. So it's all suspect, patriots. We got to keep our heads on a swivel. In the meantime, there are Palestinians that live here in America that are getting out in the streets and getting loud and visible and waving Palestinian flags with not one American flag in their group there, as if they are just free to make war with America. I don't know. If you study the religion of Islam, you're going to understand that Islam is not compatible with the American principles that are in the Constitution. Their religion tells them to make slaves of those who don't follow everybody else. So if this was a whole country of Muslims, you would be a slave. You would have to pay them money for them not to kill you. And they'd keep you alive, so you paid them money. They were throwing homosexuals off of rooftops over there in Gaza Strip not long ago. Yet here in America, we got gays for Palestine marching down the streets. I mean, the stupidity of people is astounding. And when the Lord opens your eyes up to this stuff, and now it's right there on news stations, there's gay people supporting Palestine. It's the only way you can get somebody to do that is to just make sure they're super ignorant or brainwash them. It's outstanding. So there was down in Florida, there was a thing. There was a YouTuber we put up on here yesterday. Okay, Julie Jordan. I'm going to put that one up. Iran came out with a statement saying they only received 46,000 from that 6 billion. Sure, they did. They got a whole lot more than what they know or reporting. We all know better. We all do know better. The YouTube page was called JLR Investigates, that I was watching the Florida stuff. He was a live streamer down there. Today I was watching a guy named Portland Andy. He's like a broadcaster, and he'll have 6 or 8 different streams up on his screen, and he'll bounce back and forth between them to, whichever one something was happening. And earlier this morning, there was bombs going off in some of the streams that he was showing there. And then he'll put the sound on different ones at different times. So there is some type of attacks going there. So when I was watching that earlier today, it was day here, but it was nighttime over there. So into the night, there were air attacks going on and stuff in Israel and in Palestine, I believe. There's a couple of little sleeper cells that are stuck in Israel. I think the IDF is rooting them out. The Israeli defense is rooting them out. And then there's Portland Andy too. And so he's showing a lot of the live streamers that are over there in Israel and Palestine. So that's really interesting to watch. And I know once I see it on the live stream, then I know what I can believe, And there was things lighting up over there as they were blasted. Okay, and then I reported that the Lewisburg vigil had another vigil last Monday night, but what I forgot to report out of that was that Roy read a letter from Howard Richardson, who is in FCI Schuylkill in Pennsylvania, and we couldn't get a phone call from Howard Richardson. But Roy read a letter, and then Roy has since visited him, and Roy was writing from a dark space, man, where they put them all into solitary confinement for a while. They weren't letting them use the phones for a while, and it's a horrible situation. Howard's a man who's in his late 70s right now, and he went to J6 because he saw with his own eyes election fraud happening where he lives. So he knows that election was rigged. And he went to the Capitol on January 6th to stand in protest and got flash banged and caught up in the riots up there. And the rest is history. I think he got sentenced to 4 years in prison. So Howard's got another 2.5 years to go. And he's going to be 78 by the time he gets out. And that's just another tragic story of the Biden DOJ going after patriots that have evidence that saw evidence of crimes happening, and they went to say something about it, and now they are treated as terrorists. It's amazing. Yeah, it does. All right, so how come Israel is showing the bombing in their country, but Ukraine cut is all off from showing what is going on? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It does make me wonder. I think these things are filmed by Hollywood people. These things, they get certain shots, and they can use certain shots, and they know exactly what they're looking for. Okay, you got a live one here in Gaza, Sunkist. There's another link right there. I'll have to check that one out when we're done here. But that's pretty much taken up all my time, and I didn't have time to catch up on any news. So, oh, and I did miss something from yesterday also about Isaac Thomas. I don't know how I missed this, but he mentioned on the phone, I think like right away, was that he got an attorney, and he has a October 16th court date to see if he can post bond and possibly await his trial out on bond instead of being in the prison while he awaits for his trial to come in. So that was good news. I don't know how I missed these two things, man. And then he's got a group that is helping him out with the lawyer stuff called condemnedusa.com. And I looked up that today, and that is a J6er supporting website, but it's not like an encyclopedia of all the J6ers. They got several on there that they are supporting. You can read about their story. They got links to help donate to their fundraising sites and stuff. And the guys that are covered in the Condemned USA website is, of course, Isaac, Dominic Vizzola, Peter Schwartz, Joe Biggs, Will Watson, and Mason Corson. And I think I remember meeting Mason's mother and sister out in Lewisburg almost 7 or 8 months ago when Mason was in the Lewisburg prison. And so there it is. There's an organized group of patriots that sees a need, steps up, and they're doing whatever they can do. They set up a web page for these guys. They're organizing efforts to help them all out. They're doing what they can from the outside here to help the guys out on the inside that may not have access to even computers or even their attorneys, as we found out with Chris Quaglin. They can deny you access to your attorney because of COVID now. Yeah, all night and all day, man. It's worrisome, Sunkist. It's very worrisome. What's going on there? And then the fact that there's a bunch of Palestinians in this country, and the fact that I know that Islam is not compatible with American principles, man, we got a problem brewing up right here. We just had a bunch of illegal, unvetted people come across the border. How many of them were Palestinians, okay? We got standing armies with the DHS, with the IRS, with all these different overlapping law enforcement agencies full of bunch of bootjacks that took the jab and wear a mask whenever they're told. This is a powder keg, but I don't want everyone to get freaked out or anything. Just keep your head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. If you see danger happening in an area, get out. Get out, you know. Try to warn people, but preserve yourself, okay? And I hope that doesn't happen here. I mean, we are an armed society. It was amazing. It was something to see these Hamas come into Israel and just take people who don't own firearms. They don't all walk around with a pistol on their hip. So look how easy it was. That's not the case here in America. Cleo, yeah, I noticed the chat on some of these is just horrible. What a bunch of goofy, oblivious people. We got World War III on the brink, and they're just talking shit, man. It's unbelievable, the stupidity. All right, there we go, silly. Thank you. Condemned USA website. It's a great website for the people that they're backing up right now. They have a good little bio on each of the guys there, and every story is tragic. Every one of these guys needs help. They are getting sent up the river for years, man. They're not going to see their children for years. How is that family going to recover? Well, God can keep that family together, that's for sure. Yeah, there is no common ground with a religion that does not value human life. That's right. And our Constitution says all men are created equal. So here you got a religion that says all men are not created equal. You got a religion that says slavery is what it should be if you don't follow their religion. They believe in how they treat their women over there. I can't believe this religion made a comeback, you know. But that probably has something to do with our spooks going around messing with all the governments in the world right now. And then tonight is the night when the Patriot Academy will be doing their 3rd class. So if you are signed up for that, you can get in on that and be in the live chat Zoom call when they do their presentation tonight. I'm not going to be in that, but I will check that out tomorrow. And then I got word on another thing, another Bible study potentially called the Daily Office, but I have not had time to check on that. Hey, Greg Kelly, Patriot Academy. Now, I think it is possible to follow this without paying any money to them right off the get-go. And you'll be able to watch the lessons after they're presented. You just won't be able to sit in on the lessons. if you did want to sit down the lessons, there's a workbook that you can buy, and I think it does cost something to get in on the Zoom calls there. All right, God Signpost with Dana C. Is that the one that's on Freedom Express Media? Is that the Dana that we get in here, and he's on David's live stream there every once in a while? Hey, Greg Kelly from a village in France. All right, man. It's good to have you here, Greg. All right. I haven't had a chance to watch Dana at all. But if he's got great Bible study, and that's what I'm all into. I really liked that little Judges 11 study that Matt Da Silva had out, man. That had me going for like an hour and a half this morning. And I think that's just good stuff to mull it over. I know I read that story 100 times, well, maybe 30 times, but I love those Judges stories, man, because there's all kinds of stuff that just makes you think, and how does it plug in? How does it all fit together seamlessly as a perfect free message from God would? And can we make sense of it all, The story of Samson and Delilah is in that era of Judges. The tribe of Dan kind of went off on their own little different religion for a while. And it's really interesting to watch the progression of the nation of Israel as God led them along, and where they messed up, where they did well. Deborah, that's right. Deborah's in the book of Judges also, isn't she? Favorite judge is Deborah. And the fact that Deborah was a judge, too, all right? See, there you go. It's not like only men could be judges back then in Israel. Women are important, as important as the men. All people are created equal, before the eyes of God. All right, it's a Canadian Thanksgiving Day. Right on, 49th. So there's all kinds of good stuff in the Bible. You're never, once you get done reading the Bible, you're never like thinking, oh, I wish I didn't do that. It's always like good. It's like taking a hike. When you're sitting at home and you haven't gotten out of the house yet, you're thinking, all right, my friends want to take a hike today. I'll go. And then once you're out there hiking around and you get done with the hike, you're glad you did it, All those things. Reading the Bible, taking a hike, glad you did it all the time. So I think that's about all I got for today, I'm glad we got a Second Amendment. That's making me feel calmer right now. After what we just saw happen in Israel. Amazing foresight from our forefathers right there. And we're still making progress. We're still plugging along. Freedom Corner is still occupied by patriots every night from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Tomorrow is Ashley Babbitt's birthday, and they're going to have a flower laying memorial from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock there. And then I don't think they're marching back to Freedom Corner. Maybe some people will, but it's only 2 miles from there. But then Freedom Corner should be starting up at 7 o'clock also. I don't have any updates on any of the cases that are going on right now. But let's see who's going on in there. We still got... Edward Battallion's got stuff going on right now. And Maccabee, I still think his trial is still going on in D.C. So let's, count our victories. Let's see where we're effective. We still, if you want to make some phone calls, it always helps. I think I'm going to remind my House Representatives guy to wonder if Jamal Bowman got charged yet with interrupting an official proceeding at the Cannon Building last week. What happened to that story? They evacuated an official proceeding. That's the exact charge that happened on J6 that many of our patriots are sitting in jail for long periods of time. And Jamal Bowman, a House of Representatives guy, pulled a fire alarm, and he claims it was on accident. But hey, you know, some people walked into the Capitol on accident. So let's maybe make a phone call to them and remind them, has somebody dropped this ball or not? And in the meantime, we got the House of Representatives seat open. Yeah, ask them to come in and see what's going on in these courts. The Chris Quagland story is horrific, where they're not letting him have access to computers now. He hasn't had a trial yet. It's been 2 years that he's been in jail. They won't let him see his attorney because he won't take a COVID test or some COVID reason. And I think our Congress people can do something about this. I know that our Congress people can do something about this, but they're not. Technically, the District of Columbia is not a state. It's an area that is run by Congress, right? I think I'm starting to understand what happened here. They incorporated it, like a lot of cities become incorporated, and gave themselves a city council and a mayor and all that stuff to be kind of self-governed. But at any time, Congress can come in and say, wait a second, you guys are out of line. And they haven't done that yet. You know, the Republicans have had the power to do that, but they haven't done it yet. Not cool. Well, Julie Jordan, I do believe that is probably going to happen. And I believe that God believes that that maybe more people need to see what she does there. Yeah, Greg Kelly was on an archaeological dig. That sounded really cool, man. He found 5 unknown soldiers from the battlefield dig we were digging. That's amazing. We sent them to their countries, France, Germany, and Britain, England. And British, okay. Canada is standing up on October 21st. Hey Jerry, how are you, bud? All right, weekly letters to the reps, Operation Love Wins, J6 newsletter sign up, the real J6 merch. That's where you can help out your, there's another site where you can adopt a J6er. This is where we step up, Patriots. Do everything we can to help these guys out. We know that they're in prison unjustly. We believe that it is going to be remedied in the future. And we pray for that. We pray for that. And the way that they make that not happen is they make these crises all over the world. You know, oh, we got to send money to Ukraine because Russia's invading, because there's a million reasons why Russia probably invaded it, and 999,000 of them are probably because of us, the United States. We had biolabs there. So they create a crisis there. That distracts from the fact that we have to revamp our elections and get the J6ers out of prison. See, revamping our elections and getting the J6ers out of prison is something that we the people want. So if that's what it is, and nobody in DC wants that, it doesn't happen. And it's really lame that we gotta make all this noise and hope that they pay attention to it. These are our representatives. I don't understand how they get into office if we vote for them and then they don't listen to us. I don't get it how they can think they're going to get revoted again if the elections aren't rigged. If the elections are rigged, of course they don't have to listen to us. Okay, and here's the forashley.com site to support Freedom Corner. So yeah, Patriots, Stormtrooper and Deb for Freedom put out some great shorts again today for the phone calls last night. There's a Matt Da Silva phone call, and there's a Jeff Sable phone call. They're excellent. And that's the meat and potatoes of every Freedom Corner night there. And if you missed it, that's a good way to, you can check it out on this channel. I'll try to fill in the details of last night. But if you missed it there, you can watch the short versions of Freedom Corner and the phone calls that 1791 Stormtrooper puts out. All right, Jerry made a poster of Constitution Steve. All right, Jerry, that's awesome, bud. And he got it to Freedom Corner, and hopefully we'll see it there at the corner tonight. Every once in a while, man, I still watch a Steve video. I miss that guy so much. Another fine American that we got to meet on this journey. And another fine brother we're going to meet in the future. Yeah, way to go, Jerry. Way to give honor to your friend. That's amazing. There's Deb for Freedom's channel on YouTube. She also has a Rumble channel and a website, I believe. And I don't usually go to her website, but I know she's only posting these on YouTube right now. They weren't on the Rumble. So it takes a little time to post them in 2 different places. But for the current ones, the ones that she just got done doing, is on YouTube. All right, Sean's in the house. Let's see what Sean's got to say here. Thinking about going on another back to Iowa for a Trump rally. Adela and Clive. All right, Trump's going to be back there. Is that real soon? Yeah, Jerry. There's David's YouTube channel. David's got a great media site, a website with a lot of other stuff. That's right. And then Constitution Steve had a web or a YouTube channel called Freedom for USA. There's a lot of great stuff that he did with Jerry and Josh and me, and a lot of protesting, man. Steve made really cool videos. He kept them short every day. He pretty much posted every day. He was on a Patriot duty trip journey, and he made really good videos. He didn't live stream too much that I know. I can't recall any live streaming that he did. So he would film things and kind of edit that down to a 1 bite piece, you know, not too long. All right, I'll put my P.O. box again up there. Thanks for the link, Sunkissed and Sylvia. And like I say, the mods are more than 50% of this channel, and that's also another position that patriots are looking for a spot to jump in on, is you can become a mod for a channel. When Sean started up, he needed mods, and a couple of patriots stood up and helped. We need mods because of the attacks that we get in the chat all the time. It's ridiculous. Nobody needs to see that type of vulgar comments and stuff, and they do it for multiple reasons. Mostly because they don't have God in their life and they have nothing to look forward to, so they like to create misery for everybody else. They thrive on hatred. All right, Jerry, I can't wait to see that poster then, dude. That's going to be awesome. So let me flip you around here, because this is a pretty spot. Just liked all the wildflowers here. This is like a spot that used to be grass And then they decided that they just don't need to mow everything, and they planted all these wildflowers in here. It's real nice. And it was real sunny a minute ago, but I'm on a nice little hilltop here. Yeah, trolls does ruin a channel, you know. It can make it miserable. And like you were saying about these other channels that are showing what's going on in Israel, it's just, it's so dumb it hurts. Some of the comments people leave. Well, it doesn't look as nice up here now that the sun went away. But yeah, this is a nice little park in my town where I live here. So I think we'll leave it at there, Patriots. We all got stuff to do, and there's a World War III brewing over there. We better keep our eyes on that and what's going around in our neighborhoods. That just keep your heads on a swivel, Patriots. Keep your ammo dry. Make sure you got a Bible real close. And let's say some prayers for the J6ers. Let's see if tomorrow you can write a letter to a J6er. Maybe, or make a phone call, try to help out in some way tomorrow. Some people make a schedule. I know Ridgeline, she's got a morning ritual. She makes coffee and makes 3 phone calls every day to somebody. Whether it's J6 related or just her local government related. These people need to hear from us. They can't read our minds. Yeah, this is a pretty bench. So yeah, bless you all, Patriots. Take care. Let's get some food in our bellies for Freedom Corner tonight, and I'll see you out there in the chat. This is Jericho. Over and out.